And if this doesn't work, then I don't know what we're doing.
All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome back for the third time to the Zotac Cup Masters European Open Qualifier Finals. We have, again, a best of three between these two teams. Let's Do It and Ala Ares, I think, and hopefully it's working out here. My right key is not working.
Might just want to reset hotkeys. Could be because it's paused.
All right. Let's work on our hotkeys here.
Could very likely be because it's paused.
But I can go up and down, just not left and right. See, there's...
Weird.
Okay, yeah, we got some
Well,
Dota
we've got
bugs today.
someone AFK anyhow, so who knows?
Oh,
Yeah,
my
so
left is working. Right's working. Okay,
That's
it was
fine.
just a little bug. We're into this now. Zotac is really taking
Yeah.
its toll.
Hopefully, it's so annoying having these games not on ticket because you don't get to see people's actual names and you see all their goofy pub names that you can't pronounce. Some
And also no
giant
team
Polish
names.
tag. Yeah, no team names and also no indicators for the game number. It's actually a best of three, even though the game itself is indeed a best of one. So before we went down there to reset our delay server, we talked a little bit about Pugna being good against LC, maybe one of the reasons why it was picked up. Obvious synergy with the Ricky, Lifestealer, and Nyx Assassin. A lot of Infest Bomb carriers there. The Arc Warden, though, the last pick. Actually, this morning I was talking to one Trent Pax, and he said Exotic Deer is actually a player that he's heard of and quite familiar with. And I thought he was playing the Arc Warden, but now that you zoomed in on him, I realized he's playing the Lifestealer. So, well, keep an eye out for this guy. Apparently, he has quite the individual skill.
Oh, look at that jaw. Really crunching down there. That does not look like it's good for your joints.
Nutcracker Lifestealer.
That is just a yucky set, dude.
What are Arc Warden's items, his starting items?
Currently, he has a Wraith Band.
Wraith Band. So I think that means he is headed to the mid.
Yep, I would say so. And it looks like our Pugna going for that support position, and
Yeah.
Nyx Assassin will be off lane with that so coveted Poor Man's Shield.
Really light on stuns for the Dire.
Yeah, they just got to chase him down. I mean, they do have pretty good gap close. They've got...
Do they?
They got Nyx, who can kind of vendetta around, scuttle, give you that old impale punch. Ricky, once he gets up his Blink Strike high enough, he'll have a couple of those.
I think Blink Strike's literally their only gap closer. That's it. I mean, I don't know. I'd rather have an Earth Spirit if we're talking about gap closing. I feel like the Radiance team is just more... It's obviously more standard, and what they want to do is very straightforward. They've just got 3 good cores that'll want to farm and then battle a little bit. A nice defensive support to synergize with LC. A nice aggressive support in the Earth Spirit. Nothing too surprising, right? All very stock standard heroes. A lot of onus on this Dire squad to execute and show us what this Arc Warden's all about. Like I said, I think his laning phase is fine, and against TA it should be pretty good in the first couple minutes, but where it gets scary is after the, like, 10, 12-minute mark. He's in this weird window where I think you have to buy Midas on the hero still. And you're weak. You don't really do that much damage. You're really bad against 5-man, and against a Luna Dazzle, I think there may be some 5-man coming.
Yeah, I think it's one of those high-risk, high-reward drafts where, I mean, if Dire somehow get the farm on all the cores that they need to and Radiant really drop the ball, they can have a fun time. But I think Radiant just, again, have an easier plan to execute. Now, down bottom, a little bit of a scuffle here. Mata taking some damage, but Changes does still grab up the rune. Ricky really intent on going and punishing this Dazzle, but may just have to back off here. He's in.
LC up top. Looks like he might get away. And Dazzle will die down bottom. 3 of the bounty runes went to the Radiant. And they end up trading 1 for 1 with Radiant getting the first blood. It looks like LC got the first kill.
Yeah.
So pretty darn good for the Radiant. I mean...
LC already enough money for boots if she wants them.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great start for this offlaner.
Ricky going to be annoying mid lane, and TA goes for the first point in side blades. More and more common nowadays to skip the refraction first. And, well, it's going to be annoying there. Ricky with the Orb of Venom punching away at her, but look how low just a couple of chunks on him does.
Yeah, he'll be all right with it. Give us some last hits here.
Yes.
Thank you. So, yeah, Arc Warden TA. This is going to be the matchup to watch, I think, for sure. Of course, rotations are the name of the game. Both teams have some support nearby, rolling Boulder away. So those rotations probably going to be a bigger part of this mid lane than just the straight heads up of TA versus Arc Warden.
Yeah, TA already level 2.5, feeling good with their refraction. Going to be somewhat difficult to cut through. Ricky just waiting for his moment to shine, but I think you called it out perfectly. Arc Warden just doesn't have a lot to deal with the TA at the early levels and is going to want to rotate eventually, and then TA can just get so much out of the map. Now roll in. Looks like Earth Spirit wants to contest this. Nisha in trouble. And then Ricky just getting chunked by Psyblade. There is going to be Arc Warden throwing out a little bit of damage. Earth Spirit going to be eating it up, and a couple more hits and he's done. Walks out of the scary circle. The range creep takes it, and keep trying. Still trying for those last hits. 3 very low health heroes here. Nisha is going to be able to salve up, and keep trying is only going to have the Fairy Fire and a shared tango for regen, so may just opt to go back and shrine up here with his friend.
Yeah, they will do just that. Fairly even mid matchup so far. TA not farming particularly well. Looks like in the Radiant off lane, LC having an okay time. 5 last hits, putting a lot of pressure on, pulling creeps around. It's one of the reasons why you don't see Pugna support that often. Really not that intimidating in the lane. We talked about his low armor, relatively low HP. He can do a lot of burst damage with a couple levels and has a lot of utility in the mid game, but at this stage, he can't really zone out LC, especially with press the attack. He can just pretty much go blow for blow, regen through a lot of that. So you should expect Purple to have plenty of experience, at least, out of this laning stage.
Yep, already level 3 and a third about, and keeping Exotic Deer zoned pretty well. He's still getting a good chunk of last hits. Luna going to be outdoing him there, having a virtually free lane. I mean, Nyx Assassin can't really do much against a free farming Luna. So, oh, Legion, she was so close to getting back under her tower. Got Exotic Deer down low, but just couldn't make it back in time.
Yeah, I wonder exactly what happened there. Just so saying, unlikely to die in that situation.
Yeah, I wasn't keeping track until it was too late. Now keep trying, taking a lot of damage here. Wants to go for the finish on Nisha, but may just end up going down. One more hit, though. She eats up a Fairy Fire. Very well played, and Ricky is still there, has a Blink Strike. Does he go for the play? He just makes it back up to his own high ground there. Keep trying, just fearless in this mid lane.
Yeah, that's pretty much what you have to do. I mean, Arc Warden is definitely a tempo hero. If you're not putting pressure on early, or at least trying to start your snowball, you're doing something wrong. So the way they drafted this, I mean, it's not the kind of lineup where they can just sit back and farm and feel good going into the late game against this Radiant squad. They've got 3 cores that scale very, very well. And over on the Dire, they need to find the kills for their team to scale. You know, you need to find these Ricky and Fest bombs. This Nyx Assassin will have to come online. Is TA going to get jumped in the jungle here?
Looks like it. She's fighting. She's got...
Wow,
oh.
That is such a misplay. Her refraction ran out. You know there's a Ricky off the map. That is so greedy. Wow, good punish.
Yeah. Ricky definitely making himself worthwhile, but maybe they'll go for the trade here. Grind backwards. Pops the Carapace. There's going to be that shove back. Luna now in some trouble, but the Dazzle heal will keep her nice and healthy and take out the Nyx as well. Dire.
What level's the Nyx?
Well, before his
3?
untimely death, 3.5.
Yeah, not great. Tough situation for the Nyx. Luna Dazzle is not a fun lane to go up against. Dazzle gets that extra damage from the aura. His attack animation is already quite good.
Yep. Now Dazzle will get focused down. Silence, though. Is he going to be able to get the Grave in time? It looks like he will. Going to try for the TP out. And there's nothing to break it, yeah. Changes left to his own devices. No mana for any Lucent Beams or anything, but he'll still keep up the farm.
Yeah, heads up play. I would have been very tempted to go for the heal bomb there if I was that Dazzle, but kind of knowing its limits, realizing that the Nyx had a mana burn available, just went right for the Grave TP and no way to stop it. Very smart.
Up top, Legion maybe biting off more than she can chew in the jungle here. Still 18 seconds on that shrine, so she's got to play real safe. Again, Ricky away from Radiant's vision, but they're going to take a gamble there with their Legion commander, and it's going to pay off.
Still pretty even in the mid lane. Of course, TA taking that tumble. Sets her back a bit, but Nisha, even on CS, getting that solo XP. He'll just be rushing the Hand of Midas. No big surprise there. Again, just very curious to see what item build they go for. If they build this Arc Warden as more of like a ratting split pusher, like BOTs and like Mjolnir type items. I don't know. I have not seen Arc Warden.
Earth Spirit making his way up top. Does get the neutral creep deny. Looks like those Ancients were all too unhappy that he was in their area. Now Chosen One up top, taking some damage, but going to be completely fine. And now racking up stick charges as Pugna's just throwing out Nether Blast left and right.
Could get a net worth here. See how things look overall. Ooh, Radiant with a... Oh, okay, I see. Arc Warden's up at the top. Well, still looking good for Radiant, though.
Oh, as you say that, looks like our Dazzle might be in trouble. Silenced up. Not going to be able to go for the grave this time. Luna gets a little bit of revenge, pops out one Lucent Beam, and now they got the roll on to grind backwards here. The Nyx Assassin doesn't have his Carapace, and they get the dust. It's a twofer, so there's going to be no way to escape this. Earth Spirit focuses down the Riki, and one more hit onto the Nyx. Could score a kill for the Luna, trying to juke and jive through the trees. Pops the Carapace now. Does he have the damage they need? Looks like the roll coming forward. They miss him just by an inch. They got to get him. Come on. No mana for a Lucent Beam. Going to be toggling the treads and finally finds the mana that they were looking for.
The dank tread switch. Well, ends up quite good for the Radiant. LC died while that whole thing was going on. So kind of a 2-for-2 around the map, but still pretty good, all things considered. Pugna with a...
Cutting it close there, buddy.
Decrep, yeah. Perhaps a little close for comfort.
Yeah, Chosen One maybe starting to look for the duels. Now, how's that level 6? Still obviously tempted by going for the Blink Dagger, but going to be a long ways off. Now, TA in the mid lane. Going to have her refraction charges burned out, and she's just going to be trying to slap onto the Riki. Earth Spirit comes in. Do they have the damage here? And it looks like they do. Even hurting Nisha with those side blades.
Nisha's still struggling to really come online. This is the stage where TA can start to bully the lane, and she will do just that. I also don't know why the Arc Warden hung around so long there.
Whew, okay.
I mean, does a lot of return damage, but you see how fast the right clicks from TA just eat through the pretty squishy Arc Warden at these early levels.
Yeah, and Arc Warden popping out the double there actually helped TA get some side blades. So
yeah, you're totally right.
Maybe just a little bit of panic there from the Arc Warden. TA is a ferocious laner at this point. You think she's due for a nerf? We're seeing her more and more in different regions. Yeah.
No, I don't think she's. I mean, I'd have to look at the numbers. I don't think she's been winning
Dazzle.
enough to be
way out on his
broken.
own here. Grave's going to be ending, and well, that's all she wrote.
But there's reinforcements on the way, and they might be able to turn this. That's a dire Sentry Ward down, but nice dual rotation.
And they got the dust on the Riki as well. TA, she is a speedy girl and just going straight in. The missed chance helping out our Riki for now, but that was, well, definitely a worthwhile trade for our Radiant squad. Overall net worth now bumps up in their favor.
Yeah, nice little lead set up for themselves here. Quite good. LC even got a dual win off that. I think certainly quite happy with herself.
Yeah, our support Pugna still dreaming about arcane boots, but 450 gold off of that. It's not easy. Our Luna now looks like she's going straight in for the Mask of Madness. A little antiquated, but I like it. It's coming back in fashion now.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, since they changed it, it is really good on certain heroes when you can kind of plan your spells. Luna's definitely one of them. I mean, Lucent Beam, obviously. Eclipse have cooldowns longer than the silence from Mask of Madness. So... yeah, it can be a really effective item on her, no doubt. In some ways, better than it used to be.
Legion scores a kill onto our Pugna. This poor Pugna now. All the money he saved up towards his boots is gone, but keep trying. Might be the victim of a gank here. 2 Invis heroes going down. The Impale connects. Still 6 seconds, no refraction. Could try to meld. The Dazzle's here. They've got the Grave available. It looks like they're going to go try back in for this. Keep trying. Makes his way up to the cliff, but there's still no shrine. She's going back in. Pops down a sentry. They know which direction Riki's in. Can they find him here? It looks like he will get away.
Yeah. Odd choice to go for the TA there because she's right next to the shrine. It's like pre-shrines, that's a great opportunity to gank, but it's so easy for those kind of rotations. I mean, Dazzle on the mark. As soon as TA got initiated on, TP's in, saves her, and they almost turned that around. Well played by the Radiant. I mean, the double invis duo just underestimating the power of the Dazzle, I think. Up top, looks like could be Bruin, LC, a little bit low on mana, but hungry for a duel.
Now they just got to catch up to that Pugna, who's quite slippery.
Yeah, very fast hero. He's also got the Windlace, a really high base movement speed. Hard to close the gap on him. Down bottom, looks like Orange going to get jumped on.
Well, they're just doing that double invis thing again, but a Luna a little bit easier to lock down. If they were to land their Impale, looks like Luna's going to pop straight into the Eclipse, finds the kill on 1, and now can turn around, has the Lucent Beam for Riki, but just going to settle for getting away. Again, does have that Mask of Madness if she needs the extra movement speed. Now the chase is on. Psionic Trap catches him out, but they need vision. There they go, the dust around the trees, followed up by the Poison Touch, and that poor Riki is going to have that gank turned around right on his face.
Yep, that would be what they call a disaster in the business. You go for a gank on the carry turns, kills one straight away, and then the rest of the team comes to follow up. Nice deny from the LC, but I mean, we talked about it early on. They need these rotations to work. When you pick double invis heroes like this to pair with the lifestealer, like these Ricky Nyx ganks, it's not a wash if they don't work. It is a huge loss because they're the ones spending the investment, running around the map, not getting experience, not getting gold. You know, they're just sitting there killing this, trying to kill these carries who are farming. So if the carries get the kills and continue farming, it's just a compounding loss. And the Dire are going to start falling further and further behind here. I mean, it's already a 2,300 deficit at 11 minutes. It's not great.
Yeah, TA now has her Blink Dagger, so even though Pugna could be the speediest hero in the world, he still can't run away from a TA blinking after him, and Legion Commander getting some good things set up with her duels as well. Now grind backwards, has our first Infest Bomb.
This is big.
Yeah, if they can
a kill
find
here would be
changes here.
huge.
Yeah, they're going in. Vendetta Strike. They got the burst damage that they need, and Luna will go down without a fight. But meanwhile, mid lane, we are going to have another duel victory go into our Legion. Pugna doing everything he could to possibly keep him healed, but takes a silence. Now they're juking him around the trees. We'll see if they want to continue all the way for this. He's making his way towards the Ancient Pit. Ricky in the area as well now. Ooh. Double damage for him, and it looks like that's enough to zone out the Radiant.
Yeah, still overall Radiant with a commanding position around the map. They take out the tier 1 tower mid. TA kind of baiting in mid with the Dazzle nearby, but the double damage Ricky might catch him.
Yeah, it looks like Dazzle's going to get completely obliterated. Keep trying, does some serious damage to the Pugna, but now going back up onto his own high ground. We'll see if the Ricky's going to get baited by this. With no detection, it looks like they aren't able to close that kill.
Yeah, still a decent lead for the Radiant, though. I mean, the cool thing about this game is that Dire always have the chance to bring it back with Infest Bombs. And they have so many heroes to do it, it's hard to predict exactly when and where it's going to be coming, right? The old adage about Nyx Assassin is he's often at this stage of the game really more of a threat when he's not in vision than when he's farming in lane, because there's the threat of that he could potentially be ganking, right? He could be in your jungle.
Ricky's going to walk under a sentry ward and get dead.
That'll happen occasionally. Can't predict them all. But, you know, this is one of these games where you can't just say, well, Ricky's off the map. You know, there could be an Infest Bomb coming. It's always a threat in the back of your mind, and you never know whether Lifestealer's just in the jungle or ready to fight.
They're going in. Nyx pops out that Infest Bomb, but they already lose the damage. Now Luna running for her life, not going to go for that YOLO Eclipse. TA going to fight it out here, does so much damage. And now Exotic Deer, one of the only survivors, under his own tower, is still getting chased back by this TA, looking for those blink initiations, and a duel comes in as well. That's more victories going towards our Legion. They do have to lose the Earth Spirit, but man, this is starting to look very good for our Radiant cores.
It's a sloppy fight for the Radiant squad, no doubt. They concede a little bit more than they wanted to, but it looks like they'll get a tower out of it. It doesn't look like Ricky will get the deny. Indeed, he doesn't. More damage going the way of the LC, like you mentioned. Pretty obvious by that fight what the only avenue of success for the Dire, and that is the Infest Bomb initiation. That was pretty close to the dream, right? They catch two heroes, they kill the Luna before she can Eclipse or even use her Mask of Madness to any effective utility. But as soon as that damage is done, their team fight pretty much just falls apart. As soon as the Infest Bomb threat was over, the Carapace was down, Nyx didn't have a stun, that's where TA just goes, all right, I'm all in, boys, let's do this thing. And the Dire just kind of imploded after that. So even with these decent little pickoffs, these scrappy fights, it's still the Radiant really getting the most out of it. You know, they're just getting better margins with these trades.
Yeah, Legion Commander continues just to rake in the duels. Now 40 extra damage for her after leaving her lane. Very good performance, and she's got herself an armlet queued up. We're seeing that more and more with our Legions. Just blink armlet, be immortal, be where you need to be to get those duel wins. Now up top, we are going to have a chase down. Nyx Assassin. It's Carapace. They're going to be doing a little bit of damage there to the Earth Spirit. And looks like Nyx is going to be crawling under his tower just fine, but that's all letting Luna now rake in the farm.
Yeah, this Ricky's doing a lot to give his team intel, but pretty much every time that they've tried to go for a play like this, it just hasn't worked. They'll start to life drain, they drop the silence, TA makes it under the tower, melds, almost lives. It's a noble effort, but LC comes in and cleans it up. So again, they still get a trade 1-for-1. Meanwhile, the rest of the team is pressuring up top. Even when the Dire gets something, Radiant are still managing to get more.
Yeah, it looks like Luna's going to have no trouble taking out this tower. They do get a dust onto the Nyx Assassin while Legion Commander is able to go and get a kill onto that pesky Pugna. Now, wow, look at the damage coming in onto this Nyx. He is dead. Just straight up mana burn. Dazzle going to go for that Grave TP again, and this time we'll make it out. And they're just going to leave Earth Spirit here to be cute little sacrifice.
I mean, dude, that was a great fight.
Yeah.
They're happy to let him go down for an exchange like that.
They wish the tower had gone down, though. That would have been way
doubt.
more Radiant favored. But Chosen One, again, still really getting a lot done here.
So hit us with an F5. How many Midases do we have? It's at least like 3. We've got one coming on the Nyx, too. I think he's got a recipe. So triple Midas for the Dire. My God. It's like individually, it's fine on all of those heroes, but it just puts your team at such a bigger deficit than it feels like, right? You look at the net worth chart and you're like, okay, it's reasonably even, but nearly 6,000 gold of that is just in attack speed items, economy investments that aren't really going to pay off until later. It's pretty brutal.
I mean, I guess they're intent on setting themselves up for a really good late game, but it seems like Radiant have their cores off to such a fantastic start that these Midases are only going to be doing so much. And keep trying here. Gets rooted by the neutrals. The Impale's going to miss, but they still get the kill. Like you mentioned, their burst damage coming out of that Impale gank is so good. And, well, Legion finds herself one. So, again, 1-for-1 trade, helping their cores scale up. It is unfortunate the TA was the one to receive that damage, though.
Yeah. I don't know. I want to say, like, keep harping on this Radiant domination train, but look at the net worth. Honestly, some of these ganks are starting to work, and Let's Do It they're grinding their way back into this game, and they've had a lot of sloppy fights, so it's come in this very sneaky manner where the game's totally even, and a few more of these Infest Bomb ganks, and this Lifestealer might start balling. You know, I think this is one of the weaknesses of TA is around this, well, maybe not this stage of the game, but another 10 minutes past now, you know, Lifestealer will start to kind of surpass her, and especially with this Hand of Midas, that Desolator not too far away. Is TA working on a Desolator of her own?
She is.
Looks like
She's
it.
Very similarly timed with her Lifestealer, so yeah, going to be coming out. That Blink Deso TA is scary, but like you mentioned, this is where TAs can fall off if they let their foot off the gas pedal. They've really got to keep those kills rolling in, keep that farm up, and I mean, this Luna's also getting a little bit out of control as well in terms of net worth. She's going to be third.
She's keeping up. She's farming nicely. Nobody's really getting out of control yet. Everybody's just, you know, standard net worth for now. It's really even. It's strikingly even. We'll see a little net worth bump here as they take out a tower, but I mean, 10 minutes ago, it looked like Radiant might just run away with this game, and now we've got a completely different beast on our hands. Nyx Assassin has his Midas, so he'll start getting items. I mean, he's basically just been a walking vendetta up until now. This is a precarious situation. He's going to go for the Courier Snipe, and he'll get it.
Very nice.
Easy with the vendetta, one-shot it.
Now it looks like he's going to go for that TP out. Can they stop it in time while they get that boulder? And he will pay with his life. Still pretty good. Keeping things going.
Numbers-wise, I think worth it for a game like this. You know, his Midas was on cooldown, so.
Oh, Ricky's got the Infest. They want to just dump out that damage.
Wait, dude, they can just destroy the Dazzle. Oh, my. There are sentry wards down. This is so scary.
They do. They have sentries. They've got sentries. Now Pugna's going to be crawling in. This Ricky is just straight asking for it. Looks like they are going to be able to dump out some damage and get the Dazzle down before this really starts. And now the Eclipse going to go mostly unused as Ricky's able to jump into his ult. Changes now the target of this damage from the Dire, and they want to go in and they want to continue to keep trying, but he's melded in the pit.
Oh, they get him.
Duel. Okay.
Victory for the Chosen One, but it still looks like it could be an okay fight for the Dire. The TA's here. She's got the Desolator, and it is just too much. It is way too much.
Did you see those toggles, man?
Ooh.
He got to the brink of death and came right back, and now Keep Trying going to be trying himself for an Aegis and should be able to get it. I don't think Nyx Assassin can do much about this. He's going to try, though.
I mean, it's really been the story of this game. Good initiation from the Dire, a promising-looking fight, and then TA shows up and rains on the parade. We've seen that over and over again now.
Oh, grind backwards.
I don't know if you want to go for this.
He's really thinking about it and will not go. Okay.
Yeah.
He's kind of missed his window now, so just going to keep eyes on himself. Just making sure that...
The Shrines make it hard, man. You know, for an experienced Nyx player, just a couple of patches ago, that would have been a free kill right there. This is, again, kind of precarious. I don't know what the Nyx's plan is. I don't think he can solo him, but Arc Warden is up there. Maybe with the two of them, they can get it.
Yep. He's going to be trying to TP out. It's going to be close. Oh, God, he dies in the well. His body in the fountain.
Okay, well, good try to hit TP out there. Obviously, it was quite close.
our Luna. She's picked herself up that full Hurricane Pike, so definitely focusing on mobility. She's got the speed. She's now got the gap close for herself.
Yeah, it's just an all-around amazing item on Luna. Even with the nerf, now the recipe's more expensive.
Like
Potential kill.
marginally more expensive.
They doubled it. It's still a great item, though.
Yeah.
It just gives her
They're going in. This
a
full
lot
health
of what she
Luna
lacks.
going to be forcing herself to freedom. And now Mata over here in the trees will give his life, but keeping that Luna healthy, definitely worthwhile. And the Radiant, they're going to reinitiate on this. Magnetize dumped out. Exotic Deer eating all that damage. And now Nisha pops the safety bubble, but TA cuts right through it, going in, blasting apart Exotic Deer. Meanwhile, our Earth Spirit just keeping everyone locked down, so this is going to be a very good kill. If they can find Nisha, they get the stun off, and there's the Meld Strike to follow up.
Good old Gilger. He set that whole thing up. Nice kick there to secure the last kill. And, of course, the Magnetize did that bulk of damage that really made that whole engagement possible. Now we're starting to understand why they first picked the Earth Spirit. Obviously, it's a comfort pick that they know well.
Absolutely.
And it's making this game look easy. Back up to a 3K lead. Just like that. They're kind of right back to where they started 10 minutes ago.
Up here in the top, though, our Luna continues to farm. I mean, the Midases from Dire haven't seemed to stunt them too much. They're still finding those ganks if they can find pickoffs, but I feel like Radiant, they're just going to be scaling with their cores much better. You're putting so much weight onto the Lifestealer to just be enormous by like the 30-40 minute mark.
Yeah, I mean, no doubt. When you pick a Ricky Nix with the Lifestealer, there's definitely a lot of emphasis on him being the one true carry. You know, the one true king.
Gilger. Oh.
Yeah, he's going to roll away. Very nice. Knows his limits. Sign of a good Earth Spirit.
Yeah, this guy's been playing very, very well. Still has that detection going for himself, which...
Yeah, he's a baller, dude.
Literally a baller. Get it? Okay. Just making sure. Now, TA going to be going in, stuns herself on the Nyx, but now they've got Dust. He can't really escape.
Oh, the Centaurs are in the way. You can't get the duel.
Legion Commander, unfortunately robbed. They still will
he
secure
steals the kill
with the overwhelming odds. Would have liked the duel, but they'll settle for a tower and continued pressure in this bottom lane.
Yeah. Okay, this is the 5-man. Now, this is the point I was talking about, where Arc Warden just feels completely underwhelming. He's got BOTs, he's got the Maelstrom, but he can't really hold a candle to a 5-man lineup with a Luna Dazzle. I mean...
TA's still got good amount of time on her Aegis. She's just going to be plowing forward here. Now, if she gets focused, not the worst thing. She'll come back with full health, full mana. She's going to focus here on taking
nice
out this,
decrep on the Nether Ward. Keeps it alive. Crafty little play there. Pushes him back.
All right, all the Radiant backing off now.
Yeah, they pull back the Arc Warden. I think not a huge incentive to force their luck right now. They've got a pretty good lead. They've got map control, so they can just resort to farming. Hit us with an F5. Are they close to any core items, perhaps, they could be waiting for? Looks like Luna with the BKB, Blink Dagger on Gilger, and a full Hurricane Pike on TA. So, yeah, a lot of big items on the way out. So, it makes sense that they'd want to wait to complete those. Even BKB coming on LC, that'll make a big difference. So, yeah, back up, reset, even if you don't get that Aegis timing. Sometimes, you know, a double BKB is just a little bit more important. Is this actually going to be a kill with Gilger here? It might be enough.
Oh, the decrep stops it there. Now Nisha going to be running through the trees. They've now got Ricky in the vicinity, and Legion Commander starting to get low. She really wants to get that one kill, and she will find it. But Radiant might just be a little outclassed here. How do they escape from 3 heroes? It looks like our Earth Spirit.
With armlet toggles.
He's bailing out, man. This Legion is just trying to live so hard, but...
Tough stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, they were in pretty deep. They go 1 for 1. It was a good idea, right? You get that duel, you go 1 for 1, you get the extra damage, so it's a value trade. But he didn't get the damage. Yes, exactly. So not great, but they still kill the Arc Warden. I mean, again, it's the tempo hero. If it's not the Lifestealer they're shutting down, Arc Warden pretty high on that priority list.
Yep, Dire desperately trying to keep their vision up. They're trying to make sure no one's getting sentryed up here. I mean, it's just really tough. Let's see if Radiant, they got any gems? No. They've missed a couple of good kills because they just don't
I'm surprised they haven't picked up a gem yet. I think this is the time when you should grab one in 5-man.
I mean, Dazzle's got a sentry ward here, but it's just going to go try to get the self-grave off, but ends up leaving changes all by himself. They bring Gilger in. The big bodyguard tries to zone him down and keep trying. Wrapping in as well, but, I mean, again, the only one carrying real usable vision right now is that Dust on Earth Spirit.
Oh. TA with the Hurricane Pike.
Ooh, oh, man.
Nice decrep.
Yep, saving his life there. I mean, once you get that decrypt, there's not a whole lot of burst coming out of the Radiant. That really is just a pause button.
Yeah, pretty much Magnetize and Luna ult, I think, are the only two things that maybe scare you, you know, when you see a decrypt come out on your team. But outside of that, yeah, it is mostly physical damage. It's definitely a good Pugna game.
Yeah, I think that Pugna was 4th pick, so definitely reacting to what Radiant are doing.
I still think it was mostly against the LC, but it ended up working out pretty well, just in general. It was it a 5th pick TA? Having trouble remembering now.
4th pick TA, 5th pick Luna, I believe.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Next assassin. Gonna think about going in for that impale. We'll find at least the Luna, but I feel like this Luna's not too frightened about that. They are gonna go for the duel in the next assassin after the Carapace is worn thin, and well, that's gonna be another victory for our Legion. Ricky gonna be buying himself some time. The Lifestealer comes forward, gets that open wounds onto charges, but roll away as, okay, they're just gonna go straight eclipse this. She's silenced, but doesn't really seem to care. Exotic Deer gonna be hopping in and out of that infest gank, but he's still alive. They take out the Luna. Exotic Deer gets so low with the help of the armlet toggles now. Chosen is going to keep going in, keep trying. We'll find another kill onto the Arc Ward, and Exotic Deer goes for the TP out, but both blinks on cooldown. They can't quite get there in time to get the kill on the Lifestealer, so almost a full team wipe, but Radiant still doing pretty well for themselves there.
There was a moment where I was thinking in my head, if this were a pub game, Radiant would be saying, haha, jebaited dummies. However, it didn't really work out that way. It looked like a sick eclipse. Like, they just kept pulling the Dire further and further out of their base, right?
Yeah.
And it seemed like really good positioning where they were just whittling themselves into a better spot in that fight. And then Luna popped her ult, and it just didn't really do that much. And Arc Warden just started laying in the right clicks. And we're starting to feel the pressure from that hero, right? You look at net worth, and yeah, TA's still got a nice lead, but Arc Warden, on an individual level, is still farming very well. What has he got item-wise? I imagine he's got Mjolnir by now. Okay, he's pretty darn close to it. And then probably just Hurricane Pike after that.
I mean, he'll have his full kit online, and as soon as he visits that side shop.
What is the full kit? That's what I'm not sure. Like, Mjolnir is great. He's a split-pushing hero, so BOT Mjolnir, fairly straightforward.
And BOT Mjolnir Midas is kind of all he really needs. Oh, Pugna just gets dropped there, but is able to go invis in time.
Well, I think he needs a lot more than that, though. LC, BKB, wow, that dual range.
Yeah, she is really getting the most out of that. The safety bubble helping out our Lifestealer a little bit. They won't find the dual victory. And he's going to be infesting inside the Ricky.
Yeah, they've got some detection, though.
Yeah, they've got one, they got two. And, well.
Noble effort. You know, the bubble's cute and all, but not going to be enough. That is a very costly fight. And I think Radiant either go Roche or march up the mid lane now. Probably the latter. Roche down for 90 seconds still. So there should be a free tier 2 mid, and maybe they even chip at tier 3s. No buyback on Lifestealer or Arc Warden. Yeah, I mean, of course, they don't know that, but I think they'll try to force them here. When they see they don't come up, this should be a mid lane of barracks.
Deso and TA and Luna just blaving around should be able to take this out.
They've got the glyph. That'll slow things down a little bit.
Carapace down on Nyx for another 5 seconds, so Legion maybe thinking about going for a duel, but that gem is so valuable right now. She'd love to just jump and get real aggressive, but gotta bide your time. Meanwhile, TA takes out that bottom tier 3. They're gonna go for 2 different lanes of rack, splitting up their cores.
Yeah, smart call though.
Keep trying. Gonna get munched on, but turns things around with a BKB. Decrypt dodging out the meld strike, but 2 sets of racks are down.
Yep.
All the Radiant feeling good about this. The Dire now on a wild goose chase trying to find something, and I mean, maybe they find, no. Gilger, he's just too good.
Yeah, pretty crippling. You know, 2 lanes of barracks is big, but it's a huge bump in the net worth. And now these 3 cores on the Radiant, very comfortably ahead. TA, 20K net worth, not much slowing her down at this point, and another 3,500 gold since the BKB.
That little TA trying to take some of those ancients, but she'll get cleaned up. I mean, Dire, they're really now playing catch up. They can't go for crazy Arc Warden split pushes because then they'll just get jumped on so easily. Luna, she's got 1,500 gold on top of that new Yasha she just picked up, so probably thinking about a Mantha for her.
Yeah, very standard. Great for sieging. I was going to say split pushing, but really just knocking down structures. You know, at this point, one fight for the Radiant, and I think they've pretty much got a one game for themselves.
Yeah, I mean, the Dire, they had really great burst. They had great vessels for the Lifestealer, but in the end, it just came down to the Lifestealer can't be big enough to take on 3 farmed cores for the Radiant. Now they're going in. They're going to find a fight here immediately after the Roche. They find a really successful duel. Legion just soaking in the damage. And now Change is going to be chasing down that Riki. Again, they've got nice vision from that gem on Legion, and Riki never stood a chance.
Yeah, I mean, here's the drawback to picking 2 Invis heroes. Once they get detection and they have a death ball you can't stop, they are basically useless. And if they get near the death ball, it ends up being a feat. And I mean, I feel like this is fairly standard for 30 minutes into a game that has a Riki Nyx on the same squad.
Buyback coming out of the Riki right now really does not want to sit in the fountain and do his time. Grind backwards, trying to zone, but I mean, no time for an Ags, no time for a Blink. You had to go for that Panic Yules, and no, is that really going to be enough there? Gilgert just zoning. Oh my goodness, what a player. Not afraid to get in there.
It's a pretty big magnetize.
Yeah, he's got a BKB, so he's not being hurt by any of the magic damage. Changes now rocking around. Has the Eclipse already, but going to be silenced up, so Radiant, they get low. TA potentially in some trouble. Will get healed by the Legion, but it's not going to be enough. Legion now tossing out some arrows, trying to keep herself speedy, run away from this crew, and Mata might be the sacrifice. Has the Grave TP, but yeah, is super dead.
Yeah, that's a pretty big-time backfire for the Radiant. Buyback from Riki was used right before this fight, but
Luna,
they're going to get 4 heroes out of this, it looks like.
Okay. Legion at least finds a little bit more damage for herself. She's got 136 bonus, but she's the gem carrier. She has to run away from this.
Nice toggle.
Oh, she's trying to live. She's got the shrine now. She's not even going to go for the shrine. Yep. Just going to go Blink straight away. Meanwhile, Nisha will finally finish off the cliff to Luna. So very, very good trade. Dire still showing some signs of life, but really a difficult slope to come back from. Even after all those really high-value kills, you're just dropping a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, that's the nice thing about 2 lanes of barracks, right? It's an insurance policy. Even though they got wiped there pretty hard, they go 1 for 4, basically, and they lose the Aegis. Still can't really push. I mean, Dire can't really do too much off this. Radiance will be the next item for Nisha. Okay. Fits in with the style of Arc Warden play we've kind of been talking about. You know, just split pushing in general, AoE damage.
Hmm?
Oh, he actually changes it. He switches up to MKB.
He had the MKB queued. I guess it's just...
All right, anticipating butterflies coming out. Is he reading this right? Not for Luna, at least not yet. TA.
No.
Going for the Bloodthorn. And meanwhile, Lifestealer.
Why was he out there?
Gotta farm somewhere.
It's a little bit deep with no Dire vision anywhere. So unfortunately, not going to live through that one, and that's going to further delay him. It looks like he's thinking about a Daedalus here.
Pretty high risk, mid-tier reward on that one. It's like best case scenario, you just get to farm some neutrals and they don't kill you. Pretty much any other scenario, you die. It's pretty tough, but
yeah.
I mean, they're at that stage of the game where they got to take some risk. He's got to farm somewhere. They can't just sit locked in the base and do nothing. That is a one-way ticket to slow bleed and have this game end.
Legion still holding on to her gem, so they've got that much-needed vision. They're not going to be okay. Popping down a sentry just to take this out.
Yep, Gilger still smoked up though. Not going to reveal it. Just lets the creeps do some of the dirty work.
I got eyes on this Nyx, but they're going to address the bigger problems here. Just go straight in. The Chosen One showing no fear. Maybe should show a little bit of fear. Already at half health. They're taking out the double, and now here they find themselves a Nyx assassin. Carapace doing some work now. Up here on the cliff, Mata eating up a lot of damage. Grave going to buy him some time, but still does end up going down. Now Gilger on the run. The Chosen One just barely getting out of there. Again, the Legion playing with these toggles so well.
Another really sloppy fight from the Radiant. They'll finish off this shrine, which they probably should have done before that.
Maybe. Oh, what a regen rune, dude.
Another one of those weird fights where you wonder, why did they dive past the tier 3 instead of just finishing off the structure? They've got all these BKBs. You've got great pushers with a Desolator. Why not just pop your BKBs and focus down the tier 3 tower? You know, like you're in a situation where you can sort of just power down barracks. Tempest Double doing a lot of damage. BKB gets popped, but it won't be enough to keep him alive.
Changes having some trouble as well, but finally they get that double down. They stop the split push. You know, Earth Spirit may be a little overzealous. I think the big problem, yeah, like you mentioned, they're diving past tier 3s. They're taking their eyes off the prize. They really just need to go for those megas, and I don't think Dire have the push to deal with that. They'd have to spend all their time keeping their base free now. Going in, that is some easy money
Another
for Legion.
Freebie up to 200 damage.
She gets the 40 dual damage bonus.
Yep. Going for the extra damage.
Is that a super common? I feel like in competitive we usually see the press the attack cooldown.
I mean, LC is not that common anyway, but yeah, I think press the attack is probably better generally speaking. I think a lot of LC players really regard duel as a lockdown, you know, and press the attack is just such a ridiculously good spell. It also depends on the game. I mean, a lot of the situations where you see LC picked up are situations where, you know, you're doing it to counter a very specific hero like Bat Rider or Mirana or someone else that has a big disable that you want to be able to cleanse off. So in those situations, obviously the lower cooldown's a lot better. In a situation like this where you pick LC just to be a core, simply to do damage, I mean, I think it's okay. If you get dual wins with it, it's pretty amazing. I think a lot of people see it as one of those, like, it's good if you're already winning in a head kind of a deals.
Oh, smoke up here. Dire. We'll see if they're going to walk right into this one. Legion Commander definitely leading the charge. She knows as soon as her smoke pops, just blink and hope to get lucky.
Is the talent that it increases it by 40 or to 40? Plus 40.
Plus
so you
40,
get
so
64 or whatever.
Yeah, it's a lot. You can very easily get out of control, and the fact that Legion Commander is still finding duels at this point is huge.
Yeah.
There's still going to be squishy heroes like the Pugna, like the Nyx.
So he's up to 250 now, so 64 dual damage. I mean, you get like 3 dual wins, and you're at half of a rapier. It's pretty ridiculous when you put it in kind of like rapier metrics, you know?
Yeah.
5 duels, and you literally have a rapier that can't be dropped.
It's good.
I guess it's also really good in, you know, kind of late game scenarios, games where, you know, you're level 25 and you don't see it ending anytime soon. Then it's probably really good because you'll just slowly get these trades and trickle your way up.
And it's one thing if the Dire were playing like super close together and Legion really can't find any duels anymore. Everyone's too tanky, but no, every time she goes in, she pretty much finds what she's looking for.
Yeah, that's a part of it, no doubt. With the other team having 2 roaming assassin-like heroes, LC has had a lot of opportunities to get solo kills. It's a pretty good point. More so than your average game, I think, almost for sure.
Keep trying, just really pushing up here. I mean, maybe begging for an initiation, but the rest of her team's behind her, and now they've got vision on the Nyx. Oh, my.
And that should be yet another duel.
It looks like he's going to die before they even get the chance to initiate, and we'll see if Radiant are going to go straight for the prize of the barracks, or if they're going to get a little bit greedy and go for kills here. And it looks like the Chosen One moves forward. BKB on cooldown, and now there is going to be that burst damage. Gilger hops into a BKB of his own, will get graved up, and it looks like the Chosen One will go down. Gem on the deck. Gilger still up. Can they go back in and get this gem? Going to be very risky recovery.
You know, they had a 4v5, and they just chose not to focus on structures. Again, they dive completely past the tier 3. I think at the end there, the LC was... or the TA rather, was literally taking shots from the tier 4 towers.
Just unnecessary.
They're maintaining this pretty staggering lead, but they're just not closing it out.
Who's holding on to our gem now? We do have a Dazzle picking up another one. It's still on the deck. I don't think either Dire have no need for it, or they just got to mobilize now and not stop and go back for that.
Unfortunate. They scud out Roche just seconds before it was about to respawn with that double damager, and they probably could have just taken it out straight up with Ricky Lifestealer, and not too much Radiant could do about it. With LC and TA dead, they probably would just let it go. Initiation onto Gilger falls short.
That's unfortunate now. Weave going to go out onto Exotic Deer, but are they really going to try for this? Looks like they'll give them a pass for now. The rest of the Dire grouping up, and Nyx will find Roche. Again, Radiant already know it's there, courtesy of this Psionic Trap. And now Nyx is holding onto the gem, so there's going to be gems on both sides. Fights get a little bit more heated now.
Yeah. Still ends up being a pretty safe Roche setup here. Radiant with 2 dead. I doubt they'll buy back for this. Long-range kick from Gilger.
It does some work. They now got a stone in the pit, but yeah, I think this is going to be Dire, Roche, Gilger still trying to make the plays.
It's not the fastest Roche.
It's fast enough.
But they will get it. Oh, TPing to shrines. Maybe
Waiting on
there
the
was an
Aegis.
opening.
What?
LC.
I mean, that's the play. You gotta try for it. I guess trying to bait with that Aegis. Exotic Deer finally snaps it up after the duel, and Nisha will get the kill onto Legion.
That was weird. I'm not sure if that was bait or if that was just a miscommunication about who was going to take the Aegis. Seems pretty obvious it would go to Lifestealer. I mean, he is the one true carry, as we talked about earlier. But really weird. That was just a strange... You can't fault the LC for going for it, but at the same time, Radiant have very effectively found a way to throw this game away by diving past. The tier 3 in the top lane is still standing. They've had so many opportunities here. Now they're going to have to fight against an Aegis, and they're going to have to defend their high ground 4v5. No LC for 60 seconds. Creeps still slowly making their way to the tier 2 tower. This is a big window of opportunity for the Dire team.
And this Pugna is still having some trouble there. I was expecting, you know, maybe a Ags, maybe a Blink, but no, he's still thinking about a 4-staff. Now, it's tier 2's down, tier 3's potentially.
It's just so hard to push into this team.
Yep.
Even with Aegis. Turning into kind of a strange game. That 7,500 net worth definitely does not feel so significant here at the 42-minute mark. The Arc Warden now basically turning into a carry. He picks up the MKB, so right clicks for about 250 a pop.
And speaking of right clicks, we now got a Daedalus on our Lifestealer, so again, we talked about him really needing to be the core of the damage, really needing to be the one to get in there and shred people up, and he's taken good strides towards that. But he does have to really continue that presence.
Yeah, Deso, Daedalus. Pretty good. Pretty good. Scotty could be something. I don't know. I'm not sure what item build he wants to go into now. Looks like, okay, just right into the old Moon Shard.
Well, I guess if you're hitting hard already, hit faster.
Yeah. It's really focusing on the attack speed. It's kind of cool.
Luna will finally be queuing up a Butterfly. Now, again, Arc Warden does already have that MKB, but I think Luna will still get some good use out of that. If nothing else, just keeps her speed up. Keeps her being able to chase those fast, obnoxious heroes.
Mm-hmm. The Yule's now out on Nyx.
He's had that for a while.
Yeah, surprising. I think he picked it up before the blink.
Yeah, definitely. Legion Commander looks like she's going for an Assault Cuirass of her own. Again, Lifestealer already picking one up for the Dire side, so everyone now going to be nice and tanky going into these fights.
Mm-hmm.
TA,
slow and steady.
She's got her full Bloodthorn. I mean, who's her ideal target for it?
It's all about positioning. Whoever they can catch and blow up.
Nyx getting very close. Gilger now has a gem, so could roll in and set up for some really clutch plays, grind backwards, keeping his distance.
The quiet before the storm.
Exactly. Exotic Deer now going to show himself, and well, they can realize that's probably a little bit of bait. There's probably some people behind him making sure he's staying safe, so Radiant not going to push the issue. They'll back off and continue their own farm. Legion Commander already way down here in the bottom, just getting what she needs to get, finishing off that AC before the next big fight, hopefully.
Yeah, so much of this game is now down to initiation. You know, we talked about the Infest Bomb being kind of a one-trick pony, and after they lose that burst damage, they don't have much in the fights, but that's not really the case anymore. Ricky's right clicks are starting to hurt. Arc Warden's turned into a real carry, and Lifestealer just being in a good position to get off auto attacks is pretty devastating.
They're going to go in. They're going to try to find this. They will get the dazzle. Now Gilger tumbles himself into the fight and will go down while using up a BKB charge. And now another BKB charge consumed from our TA, who's just trying to get out here, but there's a whole terrain of Dire heroes chasing her. She blinks back up to the high ground and will make it to safety this time. Very, very risky play.
It looks like Dire might actually be able to take a win in this game. They're getting the map control now. A lot of MKBs all over the place.
I like this choice by Legion. She's been foiled so much by Ricky's Smoke Cloud. Now she's going to be able to hit through it.
Yeah. It's okay. I guess what else would you buy here at this point? They've got the AC coming next.
Well, Well, there they go. Grind backwards, looking for the impale. Won't find it here. Another shrine activated. Yeah, buyback from the Earth Spirit really has to get in here and zone them out. They will find themselves a duel onto the Nyx, but the Decrep, the safety bubble, doing so much work. Now the Eclipse comes out, doing a lot of work. The Lifestealer toggling to save his life. It won't be enough. Wow. The Chosen One gets out here as well. So Radiant, they come in, and suddenly they burst this game wide open again. This is their shot to get back in it and finally close it out. They've got 2 buybacks. Lifestealer can get himself back in this game. Oh, they get the stun on the Riki. Do they have vision, though? Unfortunately, no. Earth Spirit lost his gem the last time he went down, and they just don't have anything.
So even with all that, it's still not really great for the Radiant. Look at the net worth, and I think it went in favor of the Dire after that fight because they had to use at least 1 buyback, if not 2, to make that hold happen.
This is where they got to go in. They got to get Megas here, or it's just a ridiculous fall-off for them. They can't get back in.
Is that true? I don't know if that's really the case.
I mean, they can have another one fight.
If they don't win here, they're out of the game. Is that what you're saying?
No, not out, but it gets tough. You go back to that point where it's all about initiations. Now TA gets so close to taking out this tower, but doesn't want to stay in too long. Riki goes in trying to lay the damage into Dazzle and TA, but they're able to get back.
They get pulled out too far here. Dire chasing.
They just want to TP out. They want to cut their losses.
Yeah, Riki not going to give them the vision that they're hoping for. Okay. Well, another good defense from the Dire. Get us the buyback chart.
It had issues with its binding. There we go. Now going in.
Oh, this is a big one.
Yep, they got it. That's huge. She's not even going to stop to take all the farm. She's just going to TP straight out after getting a big win there. And I mean, that's Arc Warden dead for 120 seconds. He has buyback, but it's not something you want to have to just consume willy-nilly.
Yeah, both teams with 1 hero's buyback on cooldown. So it's not too bad. The difference is it's an Earth Spirit compared to a core Lifestealer.
Oh.
So
outplaying that Nyx. Look at all the TPs to come in. They're trying to find the fight here. The BKB from the Earth Spirit is enough to zone him, and there we go. There's the Pugna dead. Only 30 seconds on his respawn timer, but if they can continue to push here, this could be huge. Chosen One trying to move back in, has the duel up in 3 seconds. Legion just pops that Nyx like a zit, and they're going to be pushing up here.
I mean, that's better than getting barracks at this point. That's a buyback on Pugna as well as a buyback on the Arc Warden used. Nyx does not have one.
Yeah, they're going straight in for this.
This could actually be it. This is the 4v5 that they had 15 minutes ago when they dove into tier 4s. TA going to do the exact same thing.
Okay, and now there is going to be that silence with TA separated from the herd. Legion just continued to try to take racks here, and now is he going to get distracted by the Riki? Looks like this time they will stay for the structures. They got the Megas. TA has buyback.
See, that time it kind of worked out. TA jumped in, basically zoned them out, and then Luna focused on the barracks. That can be a strategic way to literally make space to finish off structures. And the times before, everybody dove, and that was the difference there. So it's okay if TA does that as long as it's coordinated alongside the Luna. Riki gets the solo kill up there. No big deal on that. Mata actually counters it. Gem on the deck, but Dire, is that all of their buybacks now? I think so. Yeah, looks like it. So this is pretty brutal. Dire are in a horrible position. No buybacks. Mega creeps coming in.
They've got 1 shot at this.
I mean, this, yeah, you've literally got like 1 more fight left in you.
Dire, I mean, they're doing their best here. They've got to stick together. Pugna, he's got mediocre clear at best. He still hasn't had any time to go for selfish items here. Still working with the brown boots as he had to disassemble for the Aether Lens, and he's still dreaming about 4 staff. He'll get there, but certainly no Ags on the horizon. It's
the late game we were worried about. There was never really a moment in this game when Dire could just sit back and feel good about the late game. The late game was always going to be in Radiant's favor. Their cores are just better. In terms of supports, I mean, Riki and Pugna do scale pretty well, but so does Dazzle, man. You don't really have a tool to counteract the shallow grave. It is amazing in these big team fights. But we're also late enough in the game that holding Megas is a very real possibility. Arc Warden with the Mjolnir, it is the item for holding Megas. So with the Tempest double, he can pretty much alone just hold off the base and allow his team to do stuff. Well, that's fine. He has BOTs. I mean, the dream for the Dire squad is to 4+1, have the 4 of them rotate out and have Arc Warden sit at home and defend, and then BOT in as soon as the fight actually starts, and the Radiant are committed to it. So in terms of defending high ground like this and dealing with Megas, Dire have one of the better heroes to do that. Like Medusa, very high on that list. She can just sit there with her split shot and hold it all day long. Arc Warden pretty much in the same boat. So almost harder now for the Radiant to close out this game and actually take the win because they have to get up into the base and then get to the tier 4s. And it's just one concentrated space that the Dire have to defend compared to before where it's, a multitude of areas. Even that tier 3 up top, it's hard for them to like dive past the throne, but they can dive past the tier 3. So, I mean, it's not totally done yet for the Dire. They could still wipe them, push up mid. There's probably a 3% chance here or something.
Yeah, it's still tough. I mean, only 20,000 at 50 minutes into the game. It's sizable, but it's not insurmountable. But again, at this point, net worth means very little. It's just the initiation. And with now an Aegis on the Legion Commander, she can play a little bit more out there, a little bit more YOLO, and this could be exactly what Radiant need to close it out.
Mm-hmm. Very well could be. Is this the final push? The Scotty, the butterfly?
No, they're going in, and it looks like keep trying on her TA. Gonna just get blasted down, but, well, the rest of her buddies come in. Legion, though, getting focused under the safety bubble. She's having some trouble. Still the Aegis going for herself. The Magnetize finishes off the Pugna. Keep trying, still alive, and yeah, this is it. There's a buyback on the Nyx, but it is not looking easy.
Well,
GG well played comes out at almost 60 minutes into game number 1 here. We are potentially only a third of the way through the action.
Mm-hmm. Game number 1. Pretty interesting game, very back and forth. Radiant pretty much had control of the whole game. And it was in their hands to throw, and they almost did. I mean, I really feel like Dire played a very reactionary game. They had a couple of good ganks, given that they went triple Midas. They lasted in that game longer than I thought, but it seems a little counterintuitive. A quad Midas, actually.
Midas,
yeah, Ricky picked it up. It seems counterintuitive to me to go such a heavy Midas, like late game oriented lineup when you see the heroes on the other side of the coin. I just don't think you want to go late game against TA, Dazzle, LC, Luna. Like that, when they finally got the Megas was the most telling time in the game when you could see that advantage, where they had enough trouble dealing with TA with her overcommitting like that, and before we could even process what was happening with TA, Luna had finished off the barracks. So there's just no dealing with that once you get to that stage of the game.
Yeah, so in this game, the big old straightforward big core strat will work out, but again, this is a best of 3. So let's hop into the next match and see what we're going to be looking at there.